Tiny Huge Island is a two-sided coin for one obvious reason. You are able to control the sizes of this world. The giant version has huge rolling iron balls, man-eating piranhas, and fish. As long as you avoid entering in that pipe, you will remain safe as long as you don't fall off the map. Jolly Roger Bay launches you into the safe zone on land, which is a good sign in case you don't know how to swim. I imagine this will be a cozy place to relax while basking in the sea water aroma and taking in the mountainous view. Although the beginning areas are safe, it's best to avoid the treasure chest cave at all costs due to the hazardous toppling stone towers aiming themselves directly at you, which can cause some serious injuries or possibly death. This world of arbitrary objects floating around is a mixture of hazardous and safe. Hazardous because you can potentially drown, but safe because the water level can be controlled. The only thing to watch out for are the flame chomps spitting fire and the heave-hoes walking around, but give them some distance and you'll be fine. Now, if you manage to get to the abandoned town on the other side, you can take shelter inside the buildings and scavenge for resources and useful supplies to live comfortably. This snowy world seems to be much more safer compared to Cogfil Mountain, but for one thing, it's impossible to fall off the stage as there are no pits. There's a wide range of land to make shelter from the shivering snow. The only noticeable hazardous thing here are the freezing water and the giant ice boy who shoves you in there, but these can be easily avoidable. This gargantuan floating tower has a mixture of flowery fields and cold, hard concrete. First off, you have overgrown killer plants who are nothing but biting your face off when disturbed. You have these rude push blocks whose main objective is to cause as much inconvenience as possible, and platforms slipping in and out. It's as if the fortress is trying to get rid of you in every way, which makes sense because it is inhabited by giant sentient stones who want nothing more but to bash your head in. The upper level of the fortress is filled to the brim with hazards as the bridge collapses with the lightest of steps, and the bridges are just a thin plank of wood and revolve, blocking slabs of stone and floating mushrooms who hover over your head. Laban Battlefield may seem like your average run-of-the-mill grassy landscape, but we mustn't forget the dangers lurking these peaceful plains. For instance, you got cannons placed throughout the level that shoot giant water bubbles that explode upon impact. You got various enemies roaming around and literal walking explosives. There's a giant steel ball with sharp teeth just waiting to charge at the next victim. There's a rickety bridge without rails, and anyone can just fall off and break their necks. There's giant iron balls rolling around in pits, and are extremely hazardous. They seem to spawn infinitely from a hole which is never safe. This world doesn't seem to be on the same level in terms of dangerous compared to Lethal Lava Land and Hazy Measy Cave. The temperatures can be managed with proper equipment and survival training. Just mind the walking bombs and sentient cactuses. Although there are numerous patches of quicksand surrounding this level, they can be easily avoided by walking around them. The tox boxes may be hazardous at first glance, but they have a very basic movement pattern and can be avoided easily. There's even an oasis to cool off from this blistering dry heat. The pyramid interior seems to be very spacious, and there are rails everywhere to prevent people from falling over into the sand. Overall, I say this is one of the safest levels in comparison. Aside from the glaring obvious fact that Tall Mountain takes place on a, well, tall mountain, it's also ridden with extremely dangerous things like giant rolling iron balls, moles throwing rocks, very thin bridges, chuckyas who will toss you over the mountain, and there's also a hidden slide that leads to death if you fall off. This Cogfil Labyrinth can mangle, tangle, and twist you in every way possible due to the gears rolling, unless you're extremely athletic and can jump your way to the top, whereas the safest with ease, you're pretty much screwed. This level immediately launches you straight into the water with no land in sight. This is hazardous because if you don't know how to swim, you're pretty much good as dead. That is, if the giant whirlpool or electrocuting chests or giant fish don't get to you first. However, if you do know how to swim, you may find yourself what seems to be an abandoned construction site, with cages and poles moving about. This gargantuan snowy mountain is filled to the brim with hazards. For one thing, the entrance to the slide is not barricaded, and anyone can just fall in and find themselves sliding irresponsibly down a giant slide to their doom. An experienced bobsled racer may be fine, but that can't be said for a novice. As for the mountain itself, there seems to be many destroyed or raggedy bridges that should be renovated for safe crossing. Nothing about this mountain seems safe at all, and anyone can just carelessly fall off the floating mountain. What can be said about a haunted mansion where literally everything is trying to kill you? This place is the epitome of hazardous. From ghosts who torment you to giant laser-shooting eyeballs, and killer bugs chomping at you, and that infamous mad piano who isn't in the mood to be in tune. I would not recommend anyone to stay in here for the night, and they won't live to see another day. This poison-infested cavern should be barricaded from the public and never to be explored by any individual with common sense. There are giant mutated spiders, fire emerging from the pits, giant rolling rocks, which are capable of smashing anyone, and a cave of literal poisonous smog with bats and bullet-shooting snoofers. Needless to say, this place is extremely hazardous and should be avoided at all costs. This land of flying carpets and objects is a death zone. There are no rails whatsoever, and the slightest mistake can mean big trouble. However, as long as you are able to reach the big house in the sky, you can remain there for long periods of time, out of harm's way, as long as you avoid the fireplace. This scorching wasteland is basically impossible to reside in for a long period of time due to its extremely dangerous levels of heat. There seems to be gaping gaps between platforms, and any careless misstep can mean immediate death. There are also iron brutes looking to shove you into the lava, as if this is their life goal. There's platforms sinking into the magma, as well as various arbitrary objects just randomly sitting around. The volcano interior is just as dangerous as the outside, as there are lava waterfalls and very thin platforms that look like they're on the verge of collapsing. Overall, the world of Super Mario 64 is extremely dangerous and should be avoided at all costs. The very fact that Mario is able to put himself through such excruciating pain just for a kiss on the nose and some cake is beyond me, but that's just me. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe for more gaming content like this.